Follow the trend, tend to benefit while avoiding harm. Hello everyone, this is Mr. D. Today I want to share with you what steps are required to use the I Ching to predict the future. In order to let you quickly know how easy it is to use I Ching to predict the future, I will not introduce the history or specific content of I Ching in this video. I will only introduce you to the steps for predicting things using I Ching. After watching this video, you can decide whether to learn how to use I Ching to predict the future. I guess the answer must be yes. Why? Because this divination method is too simple. So simple that you don't need to learn so much special knowledge. You only need to have the basic ability to read the text, and then watch the first 4 episodes of this series of videos that I made. The total duration will not exceed 1 hour, and the entire series of videos are free. Then you can use the I Ching to predict anything you want to predict. Please don't think that the simple method of divination means that the result of divination is inaccurate. How can an inaccurate method of divination spread in China for thousands of years? Although this video will not introduce the specific contents of the I Ching, but when we're talking about the I Ching, we have to mention the core of it, which is the 64 hexagrams. This table lists some of the most basic information of 64 hexagrams: 1, 2, 3, 4, 32, 48, 64. As can be seen from the serial number, there are a total of 64 hexagrams. For the interpretation of concept of the 64 hexagrams in the I Ching, my favorite is a sentence said by the famous Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung. He said that the 64 hexagrams are 64 situations. This is to say, the I Ching summarizes all the situations of events in the world into 64 situations and represents them with 64 hexagrams. Speaking of Jung, he wrote a very famous introduction to the I Ching. In that article, he gave a brief introduction to the I Ching and gave several examples of using the I Ching to predict several events. The article is short in words, so I strongly recommend that you read it. This is the website of the article. I will put this website in the description of this video. Please carefully look at the image of each hexagram. It's not difficult to find that their images are different, but the parts of the hexagram that make up each hexagram are regular. For example, in this hexagram, although there are 6 lines that make up this hexagram, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But some lines are connected and some are disconnected. I won't explain too much about this in this video. All you need to know in this video is that an ancient Chinese wrote 7 paragraphs for each hexagram thousands of years ago. The distribution of these 7 paragraphs is that each of the 6 lines has 1 paragraph, and the whole hexagram has 1 paragraph. Then, after a simple calculation, each hexagram has 7 paragraphs, and there are a total of 64 hexagrams. The result of 64 times 7 equals 448. We use the I Ching to predict the development of things relying on these 448 paragraphs. There are only 2 steps. First step, you think about the question you want to ask in your mind, and then randomly get one of the 64 hexagrams by some method. Second step is to look for the 7 paragraphs of this hexagram. Combine these 7 paragraphs or some of them with the situation of the question you have just asked. Analyze the hints that these paragraphs give you, and finally decide what you should do next is best for you. For example, if I want to use the I Ching to predict the development of my career this year, what should I do? First step, I need to calm down and think about the question in my head. The question is, will my career development be good this year? Then I use a method to randomly get one of the 64 hexagrams. Let's say it's the Thai hexagram whose English name is peace. I have to say, this translation is very inappropriate. I will gradually correct many errors in the translation of I Ching in English in future videos. Second step, I look at the 7 paragraphs of the peace hexagram and then combine my own circumstances with those 7 paragraphs to judge the true situation of the thing now and how the thing will develop in the future. Now you know how to use the I Ching to predict the development of things. As I said before, it is really simple, right? I guess you must have 2 questions now. What are the ways to get a hexagram at random? Where can I read the contents of the I Ching? There are many ways to randomly get one of the 64 hexagrams, and I will introduce them to you in the following videos, and they are very simple. Please subscribe this channel. If you want to read the contents of the I Ching, you can buy the book or read it for free on the website. If you want to buy a book, you must buy the version translated by Richard Wilhelm. This version is the best in English translation, although there are still many inaccuracies in this version. If you want to watch it for free, you can go to this website. Click the picture of the corresponding hexagram, and you will see the content of that hexagram. The content on this website is the online version of the Wilhelm's translation of the I Ching. I don't know if this website meets the regulations. I personally recommend you to buy a book. Subscribe. Be your own prophet.